Today, I want to talk to you about something real important with another monster guest. Grover Norquist joins us again. He is the president of Americans for Tax Reform. And Grover, we talked about this a little while back, but it's still like right in the forefront, especially now in the presidential race. In California, they're trying to push this AB 5 that would outlaw 1099 consultants, and everyone has to be W-2. Basically putting every Uber and Lyft driver and everybody in the whole, new economy out of business.
Yep. Yeah, and you may say, well, that's California, they're crazy, who cares? They intend to pass that at the national level, and as a matter of fact, every one of you Democratic congressmen has already voted for that once. This spring, they had a vote to take everything organized labor wanted, and one of the things that all the unions want is to kill independent contracting. They do not want you to be your own boss. Everything that Uber does would be illegal. Everything Lyft does would be illegal. If you write columns for 5 newspapers, not legal. Got to have a boss. Got to have one boss. And if you, out in Hollywood, for crying out loud, if you write scripts for 5 different studios, nope, illegal. It sounds crazy. It is as nuts and destructive as it sounds. The whole point of this gig economy is to give people flexibility. They want you to have one boss so you can be unionized and pay dues. And New York has passed a version of this. They're getting closer. And they're looking to pass it nationally. If they get a Democratic House, Senate, and President, that's going to be the law of the land nationally. Biden has twice publicly said, oh, yes, I'm for that.
And, on the corporate front, we have a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs that are in our audience. On the corporate front, under the Biden tax plan, he's already, basically signaled without fully saying it that he could go as high as 35% on the corporate tax when you got China at 25%. And that would be, effectively more than a 50% increase on the current corporate tax. It's crazy.
It would make us the highest taxed businesses in the world. So anybody with $1 million to invest somewhere would go, not the United States, they take 35%. Communist China only takes 25, a lot less. Germany, 25, a lot less. Ireland, 12.5. Everybody would have a lower tax. Remember when Biden was vice president and Obama was there? American companies were moving overseas because they were taxed less horridly if they were owned by a Belgian company or a Canadian company or a communist China company. Good news is that we largely fixed that, took it down to 21. Bad news is our friend Biden has repeatedly, we've got it on video. If you want to go to our website, atr.org, you see him again and again and again saying he's going to abolish all of the Trump tax cuts. Gone day one, gone day one. That's the massive tax hike on your child. They'll cut in half the per child tax credit from $2,000 to $1,000. That's what he starts with. But then on businesses, massive tax increase.
Wow. So while we were waiting to come on today, you got a big call. I mean, it turns out that you're going to be at the White House tonight, or at least the RNC final ceremony tonight, right?
Yes, the president's going to speak from the White House in the South Lawn, and I'll be one of the specs out there applauding. But I think they're going to have a wonderful turnout. The president's doing it at the White House because there's not really a convention to fly to. And it's going to be a wonderful speech. I've seen a little bit of the discussion of it ahead of time. When people say, what's the future look like? What's another 4 years means? He's going to outline that. And I think that the good bounce that Republicans have gotten so far from the convention and the number of Americans who've been watching this convention compared to the Democrat convention, we've got a new race on our hands. It's a lot closer than it used to be, and it's moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. And, I feel like the one place where the campaign thus far has been missing the mark is, to me, it's simple. They want to give you no cops, no borders, higher taxes. So, I mean, anyone who's sane, even if you're a moderate Democrat, no cops, no borders, $4 trillion in high taxes. I don't know why they don't just pound that on every television commercial from now till November 3rd.
Well, the great thing about ads is you get to write them. When you do a press conference and you say 12 things, the newspapers, the TV stations, they can pick which of the 12 they think is important. And guess what? They pick the offhand comment, not what the president was focusing on. An advertisement allows the president to focus his message, and nobody can interfere with it. That's the advantage the Republicans have. It's the problem that Biden has now, because they ran their entire convention not discussing policy. I'm a swell guy. I'm nice, okay? And I'm going to steal all your money and get rid of the cops and go back to having lots of wars. But he doesn't say that stuff. And he's wise not to tell people what his plans are, because we saw what happened, how people reacted the last time Biden was there in the White House with Obama. They threw the Democrats out 2 years in.
Yeah, I had a Columbia professor on a little early. He's a friend of mine, but he's a real, kind of liberal guy. Ran for office as a Democrat in New York, and he was saying that that Joe Biden is not for the Green New Deal. He's not for defund the police. And I had to point out to him that he hired Kamala Harris as his vice president, and she's the co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. So they don't want to put any of these platforms out there, Grover, because they're just trying to hang on to their base, because they're not going to switch anybody over at this point. I don't know. I feel like if you can tune out the noise and just listen to the signal of America, I kind of see a lot of people thinking, here's the contrast: riots, looting, no cops, open borders, free health care for all, illegal immigrants vote, higher taxes, and this guy has already got a record in 3 years. I think people are moving that way big.
Absolutely. Look, and Biden, people talk about maybe it's not as focused as he was when he was younger before the stroke. But in point of fact, he's surrounded by all of the power bases of the modern left-wing Democratic Party. If he wanted to save the steel industry or the mining industry, they wouldn't let him.
No, without a doubt. For better or worse, I said that Kamala Harris was the final straw, and all my friends in the market here on Wall Street was saying, the left-wing media was saying, oh, the market breathed a sigh of relief because Kamala Harris is a stable person. Everyone I know breathed a sigh of relief and said, oh, he went with her. That means Obama and Clinton. Now we know Trump's going to win. And if you look at the market, since they said Kamala, it basically sealed it for them that the people would never buy the whole progressive thing. But I call her the vessel. She's just there to carry the establishment, the Obama-istas and the Clinton cartel. She's just there to carry their philosophies.
Yeah. The Republicans get in, all of the craziness that used to be there will not come back. And you agree, that's why the stock market is happy. The polling shows the president's polling better. The Republicans in the Senate and the House are running stronger than a month ago, 2 months ago. And COVID is now beginning to be in the rearview mirror as we see the number of deaths and people in hospitals going down. And the key question is how many people actually have to go to a hospital. That number is going down. And I spoke yesterday to people at Pfizer. One of the vaccines that they know works, but they have to still test it for another couple of months or something to make sure it's safe for everybody. So they've got a series of vaccines. This thing is going to become history as on schedule and faster than other vaccines have been moved forward, because Trump really did move heaven and earth to get this stuff out, done quickly so we could protect people.
Yeah, and you know what? I did a personal, unscientific poll of a whole load of women that I know. My mom's the head of an organization called the World of Women, but that wasn't my only polling group. But like about 70% of soccer moms that I know said they would never give their kids this vaccine unless it was like 2 years from now. So it's like I think that's almost like a placebo in itself.
Well, I'm not sure kids need the vaccine. It's older people that might need it, or people with other health problems as well. And there's going to be many options too. I mean, there's a series of different ones. So we'll have lots of things to choose from. And by the way, some people rush out and get these vaccines, and if you wait, that's like another test. You can look and see how well it does.
Right. All right. Well, my friend, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate your insights as always, and enjoy your trip to the White House tonight. I'm jealous.
It's going to be fun. Come on, just fly down, and we'll just tell them your name.
Then I got to quarantine for 2 weeks before I can come back.
Oh dear, that's right. Yes.
Grover
Good luck in
Norquist,
New York.
Americans for Tax Reform. He'll be there tonight in the audience for the president. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap it up right